Hey guys, Bella Zakuche here. This is TechCity. Now, I know I had promised on our website, which is www.techcityng.com, on our last article about Uber and Taxify, that was the last time we'll talk about that. But when you look at things again from a completely different perspective, you cannot exactly put a stop to that conversation until you have heard from maybe the stakeholders themselves. So we have done that, and this might be maybe the actual last time. I'm not promising this time, because this conversation can lead to a whole new kind of worms that we would have to look into yet again. So our fingers are crossed on that one. Today with me, I have two Uber and Taxify partner drivers and part-time drivers, in fact, who have come on the show to talk to us about what the heck is going on at Uber and Taxify. We'll be getting a very personal view as to the issues that they are facing and everything that you probably need answers to, and questions, of course, that you are asking. They will be providing answers to us in one way or the other that they can. So you guys, please say welcome to AJ Franklin, who is on my left. Thank you, and welcome to TechCity DisQus.
Pleasure's mine.
And I also have on this side Jesse Oguntimeng, aka Jesse Oguns.
Thank you, Belarus.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah.
So real quickly, both of you are part-time drivers, and you're also driver partners on both Uber and Taxify. Isn't there a policy? Do you think that there should be a policy that states that if one person is already on Uber, that person should not be on Taxify?
Well, I'm sure Taxify will want you to drive on Taxify and Uber, vice versa. Uber will want you to drive on Taxify, but there's no policy like that. And who is the policy going to favor? For me, I just need my car to produce for me, to be on the road. So then, sometimes you put on one app, say Uber, and you're waiting 1 hour, 2 hours. There's no person. And usually there are some parts of Lagos where you have the customers using Uber more than Taxify.
Sure.
And in some communities or in some neighborhoods, they will use Taxify more than Uber. So you just decide to use your own logic to how you do it. So if you're on both platforms, you can just switch on the two platforms at the same time, and then you can get to work all through. So if you work 7 hours stretch, you are getting passengers and you're able to make money. But if you're on just one app, you're not likely to make as much as someone who is on the two apps, considering how things are now, by the way.
So this is favoring both the apps and the people that are on the applications.
I think it favors more the drivers and the partners, not the app providers. Like, it doesn't favor Uber, it doesn't favor Taxify. Uber would rather have you on Uber and not another platform. But there's nothing they can do about that, besides trying to ensure that Uber is good enough and pays well enough. For instance, if Uber pays me well enough, there's no need for me to try to be on Taxify. I was first on Uber. When it wasn't paying me enough, I decided to jump on Taxify, so I can have the two.
So which were you on first, Uber or Taxify?
Uber too.
What exactly made you switch or cross carpet into Taxify?
Okay, basically the customer relationship and some of the complaints coming up from partners, and and didn't take it into considerations. We talked several times, and then I think Taxify saw a business opportunity with that, and then they came in and we saw something better with the kind of business model they came up with, and so we had to switch, and that's it.
Now, it's not the first time I'm hearing that people are having issues with communication and customer relations. I have had conversations with some Taxify drivers, and if there is one thing they all say, it's, when I have any issue, there is a WhatsApp number that we share our issues with the Taxify admin, and they always give us real-time feedback. So there is no lag in getting feedback from the admin and whatnot. What would you say is the problem? Why isn't Uber perhaps doing the exact same thing? Is it because they are a much global brand? Why do you think they're not doing customer relations the way Taxify is doing theirs?
I simply want to think it's part of their own style of running business. But I wouldn't advise anybody to do business that way, You should have sorts of feedback, and real-time feedback. Somebody should be able to call you. I don't know if you've taken a ride on Uber before. You don't have a number you can call. You only have to send a text, and then somebody from the US, not even
South
Nigeria.
Africa, I believe.
Not even somebody who knows the terrain. Somebody from the US sends you a text, and then he tells you, my name is Ryan, and in the issue will be resolved. But on Taxify, you have somebody, you have a face, and they address you by your name. Like the message comes with your name, and then there's somebody you can call up anytime, and then somebody responds to you and takes care of whatever issue you have, and is solved.
By the way, Taxify and Uber are not Nigerian companies.
They're not. I was going there.
So it means that one of them
It's
is
listening.
being smarter by playing local.
Yes.
You're here in Nigeria. You need to play local. Even though there are Nigerians working in those companies, but most of those people, there is a disconnect.
Yeah, there is.
Now, they don't use Uber. Even if they do, they don't use it around Lagos. Maybe they use it in some areas.
Yeah.
They don't drive on Uber.
Uber.
So even the feedback they get, they don't really take
They
it
can't
into-
resonate.
it doesn't mean so much to them. Then, for instance, what Taxify will do is, like you said, we'll provide local numbers to you, talk to you personally. And at the beginning, Taxify didn't start charging 25%, 20%. At some point, anyway, let me be sincere. One of the reasons that I went on Taxify was because Taxify was not taking anything.
At the initial stage.
Yes,
At
I
initial.
make all the money,
And it's
I
in my
keep all
pocket.
the money. It was smart on their part.
To start that way.
Yeah. I mean, and then you find a lot of the drivers right now that there's problem of low fare. We are all driving on Taxify more. You take a ride from Lekki to the airport, 4,800 on Taxify.
Okay.
But
That's reasonable.
But try it on Uber.
Uber.
It's
You probably pay
1,600.
1,600.
If I'm a rider, I'm happy.
Oh, definitely.
But if I'm a driver partner,
Partner.
I'm not happy. And all these scenarios, Uber doesn't care much. They still take their
25% of that
25%.
amount.
And then 30% will go to your fuel. Then you talk about changing your car tire, ensuring your brakes are okay, and some other things you have to renew your insurance
And not
every year.
Every
not
year.
everyone is a driver partner. Some are actually drivers and they have
Drive
to
for other
still,
people.
do all that
there's a
calculation.
lot of disconnect.
Disconnect.
I think all of them, they're just being capitalists to the core. But even if you have to be a capitalist that you want profit, you need to take care of what generates profit to
Profit to
you.
you.
There will never be Uber without the driver
Drivers.
partners, without
Indeed.
the drivers, and without the riders.
Even the riders.
No, you're saying you want to focus on making the riders happy. Will the riders put their cars on the road? Now try to request for a ride on Uber. I was trying to come all the way from Festac down here. There was a surge and there was no Uber at all.
Now let's talk about that surge thing. I've also had conversation with some Uber drivers, and they say, again, because of perhaps how they feel they are being treated by
Yeah.
Uber, they generate artificial surge. They intentionally go offline. They had their riders apps, and then they try to get on the platform to look for drivers, and of course that's what creates surge when there's a high number of requests and there are no drivers on the streets.
Okay.
Lately, that's what it should have, for a driver who drives on Taxify and Uber. And the difference is Taxify normally takes 15% when they want to take off what you get. Uber takes 25% as you see the difference. And now, okay, with the low rates, you're making, say, 1,600 from Lekki to the airport, and then Uber takes 25% of that. You know how much you're left with.
My math is very
so
bad.
now what? Now what will a driver do? Most drivers want to go offline on Uber until there's a surge normally. So every driver's app almost all drivers' apps are off. Like a few of them leave their apps on, and then some request, and riders who want to ride request, and then there's surge. Most of them will now come online to drive on Uber, because normally if you drive on Uber without surge, you're not making anything.
So
You're
once there's a
just
surge, it increases your profit.
Yes, the surge is what now makes it come up to the level it should normally be.
But now, looking at the rider-driver relationship, right? There is an argument, or there's a school of thought that says, look, Uber is still going to, quote unquote, be the best, regardless of how the drivers see things, regardless of what this price regime is looking like right now.
Sorry, best for who?
So the best app
No,
We need to
an app
define it.
cannot be
for
good
the
until it's
rider,
best
for the rider.
Cheapest for the
The
rider.
cheapest for the rider.
Cheapest for the rider, and this is with regards to the quality of rides, because now people are saying Uber is taking the stress of training the drivers. They're taking the stress of
Taxify is
ensuring.
doing the same thing.
Are they?
Basically, yeah.
They are training their drivers as well.
Yes, every day.
Amazing.
Taxify
What
is
is
doing the
the
same
process?
thing.
What is the process for?
See, there are
for people who
so
on
many
both platforms?
things
you go,
There are
before
so-
you even
yeah,
before,
there's
before
so
you get to
many
drive
notes.
on Taxify, you go for training before they activate you. So I was in Taxify office, I think on Friday. There were more than 40 persons getting trained. And so every day you go there, people are getting trained.
Is it the same? Is it the same quality
it's
with that of
different.
Uber's?
It's different. For Uber, there is a kind of psychometric test
Okay.
you take behind the computer. Even if you can't use the computer, you can't take the test. But for Taxify, when I went to the office, it's just training. There's no score.
Yeah.
So once I've listened to the lecture, I am automatically qualified to drive. But then, let's come back to the table. More than 80%, if I'm correct to say, of the cars on the road now that are on Taxify are also on Uber.
Uber, yeah.
Those on Uber are also on Taxify. So when you're telling me about the quality of ride, sometimes maybe when I pick someone up, I'm thinking in my head, was it Uber, was it Taxify? What should I say? Welcome on board on Taxify or welcome on board on Uber?
Yeah.
Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking you, best in terms of what? Is it best in terms of the quality of cars on
Quality
the road?
of rides, so the experience, the cautiousness of the driver towards the rider.
Now,
The quality of the
say
cars,
something.
because again,
Let me say
quality of car
something.
comes to play.
Let me say something. I think it was Fela who said, an hungry man is an angry man. Am I correct? And so, for instance, I'm a driver, and I should normally make, say, 4,000 naira from Lekki to, or 4,800 to the airport. And then there's this rider who's going to pay me 1,600. And you want me to give that rider the best service. Do
I
you
probably
think?
won't
But
put on my
shouldn't that
AC.
be? It shouldn't be.
I probably won't
I
put on
won't
my
want to
AC.
put on my AC.
It
I
shouldn't
won't
be
put it-
forced. I don't know if you guys see where I'm coming from. It shouldn't be forced. If I'm going to get into a ride that I hire via an application, it is expected. And I think that's one of the reasons why people would even still go for some of these apps.
So I should
because
be nice to you
the
because
native
you're
yellow
paying
and
me
black
1,600
drivers,
naira.
the
Yes.
native yellow and black drivers, they're not very cautious.
Okay.
They're not very cautious, and that's why perhaps they have used it as a unique selling point. So when you come on these apps, the drivers are nice to you. They speak in a very nice manner.
Okay.
They are very, warm. They almost want to kiss the ground that you walk
But the
on.
rates are not favorable to the
To them.
riders,
So how do you
the
expect to
driver
get the best
partners.
out of them?
So how do you get the best out of
Out
them?
of them.
That's why many people, okay, like I said, I drive part-time. And since these shenanigans, let me call it that way, has been on, I have not driven. And now that's the reason why so many people have turned their Uber app off. So where will the quality experience come when
from?
there is no car to pick you up on Uber in the first place? And when you're not happy with the rates, you don't go on. And so there's no problem of whether there will be quality on Uber or no quality. So everybody is moving. And it's not just Uber and Taxify. There are others.
Yes, there's Oga
There's
Taxi.
Oga
There's
Taxi.
Smart.
There's Smart Cab that's out there. So I think the way it is right now, there's a lot of, how will I call it? There's a lot of things going on, and reducing the price is not the best at this stage. If you have to compete, why not compete on the quality of service? When I was coming here, the car that carried me was an older model car. Uber is not going back as far as 2003.
Free.
And so, if I'm a partner, let's even discuss this.
Okay.
I have a 2014 vehicle that I probably bought new because I want to make money on Uber. And someone bought a 2003 car for 1 million or 800,000 naira, and we're carrying people for the same rate. The cost of my tire is not the cost of his own tire. The cost of maintenance is different. And Uber recently took off Uber Select.
So it's just, we're left just Uber,
Uber-
X.
Uber-
I think Uber
X
needs to
and-
go back to their drawing board. Perhaps even employ some of the people who are drivers and partners to help them think through the
To
situation.
join their team.
Maybe as consultant or something. Of course, they invite us sometimes for roundtable conversation. But I don't think they act on it.
take the things
I was
you
going to say,
They
did
don't
they
think
execute any of the
We don't-
ideas and suggestions that
we
you
don't
gave?
see it. All we just saw once is, okay, this is Uber's rationale. Yes, the rates have dropped, but there's going to be guaranteed top-up if you have at least one ride in 2 hours. That's if you're active. You asked a question the other time about if there's a policy that says if you're driving on this platform, you can't drive on the other platform. Now, this guaranteed top-up per hour is some kind of strategy to ensure that you are on the Uber app, driving consistently for numbers of hours on a low rate so that you can get a guaranteed top-up bonus. So if you are switching
What's
between...
the timing for that? At the end of the month, at the end of the day?
It's at the end of the week you get your money normally.
Okay.
So, but the thing is, there's record for it. So if you do, at least one ride, that's half a ride in 1 hour, at least one ride in 2 hours, there's a guaranteed fee of maybe 1,200 or 1,500, depending on the days. Uber always makes it very clear. But now look at that, which means the drivers will stress themselves more.
Round the clock.
Stress the cars more. You put so much mileage on the car, spend so much on maintenance. At the end of the day, if it's a driver who is not a partner, needs to deliver at the end of the week a certain amount of money, which is usually around 40,000 and 45 to 50,000 before. Now the drivers are requesting for the partners to deliver 25 or 30,000 naira to the partners. Because there are some partners.
Still.
Yes, there are some partners that have cars on Uber and are not driving.
Indeed.
Unlike the two of us, we have our own cars and we're driving.
You're driving.
So they're supposed to deliver. So if these people, the drivers and the partners, are not happy, they are not getting value for their investment, will Uber or Taxify be in business?
I have one question to ask, and I'm sure people are wondering, okay, if it's that bad, get off the app.
That's what the drivers have done. That's why you have such...
There was a strike action. There was
out.
a strike action sometime last week, I believe.
And I explained what happened. Okay, see what drivers did.
Let's hear
On
that.
that day, there was that strike. And then Uber noticed it. They now added, if you do 7 trips, I think you make extra 10,000 naira.
Okay.
So you do 7 trips on their app, just 7 rides, and then they give you 10,000 naira. And drivers didn't still show up. They made it 20,000 naira just to get drivers.
Wasn't that for only some people who haven't driven for long?
No, it wasn't. It was just because there was strike, and then there were no drivers on the app, and then they wanted drivers to come on the app.
Interesting.
And so they now said 10,000 naira for 7 rides, 20,000 naira for 7 rides. Most people came up, to drive. But however, if you check within when the strike and within that strike period and now, you notice more of surge. It's simple. Drivers are tired of these low rates. They can't manage it, and so everybody's off. Like most drivers are off the app. In some areas where you have more than 10 drivers and all of that, and then sometimes, in fact, sometimes you request now, driver doesn't call you up again.
True.
Like
you
before.
have to call the driver.
You call them up, and even when you call them up, they ask you where you headed to. First of all, you tell them that. You now look at some like, please cancel and request again. And then some don't even pick your call. They picked your request. Rather than come towards you, they're driving towards somewhere else.
Two drivers actually cancelled on me yesterday.
That's simple. That's because they got another request on either Taxify, and then they prefer to ride on that Taxify.
In fact, on my way here today, I eventually
Taxify.
got an Uber that took me down here. So I engaged in a conversation with the Uber driver, who is also on Taxify. And he said to me that Uber is just his last resort.
Plan B.
His second fiddle. So
to Taxify?
Yes.
Taxify,
he said he
true.
drives on Taxify more. And if he goes to a neighborhood where he can easily see Uber, then he will put it on. Which means in his own case now, he will never get that guaranteed top-up. So I think this strategy is just
I'm sorry
not working.
to tell you this.
What
I will never get it too.
What are the areas? So is it just that you guys are saying, okay, so there are some places that you will go that you get Taxify, some places you go that get an Uber. What was the criteria for this?
It's not cast in stone. It's not black and white. You just have to use your own logic. Yeah, because like the regular taxi people, they use logic to do a lot of their business. So this is the kind of logic you need to use. Like for instance, you say I'm on Taxify and I'm on Uber, but I'm also on Oga Taxi. And I must tell you that I get people more from Ikeja, GRA, and all around Ikeja and VI using Oga Taxi.
Okay.
And I've been receiving emails. You see, with all this going on, it's creating room for a better player to come.
Indeed. Competition is good.
Yes. If Uber or Taxify doesn't step up, better competitors are going to come and they will give what Uber cannot give. But the landscape is actually not very easy. The business of riding through an app is not very easy, as you can see. Otherwise, there would have been competitors that will come, kick Uber and Taxify off. So for Oga Taxi, they sent email to us and said, dear pilot, we care about you. We are raising the rates. We're not reducing it. And their rates are very high. So, but I've not driven in a while, so I can't say maybe their high rate is working for them.
Or not.
Yeah, and they don't have a lot of people on their platform anyway.
And then that's the thing. One of the reasons why many people are more comfortable with perhaps using Uber is, Uber definitely have more drivers. They have more driver liquidity. They have more.
They used to. Do
They
you have
used
the
to.
stats?
Anymore.
They used to.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
have the numbers, but I know that when I put on the app in my neighborhood, I see more Taxify drivers than Uber drivers.
In fact, there's something. I was in Taxify office, I think Friday, like I mentioned earlier, and guess what it said? They brought up something. I mean, these guys are thinking that they are getting better every day. They brought something like insurance for the drivers. So there's going to be life insurance for drivers, both phones. I mean, everything in your car is insured. So your car is already insured. You do insurance for your car, and then they are now insuring your phone and every other item you have inside of your car,
vehicle.
as well as your rider.
Wow.
Benefit of competition. But then let me also say that if you ask me this question, that if everything was okay, which platform will I prefer to drive on and be a partner on? My answer will be Uber.
Uber.
Okay, and why?
Uber is a bigger company.
Right.
They have more money, and their app even works better for me overall than that of
Taxify.
That's why I said for me
Personally.
overall. It works better. I like the system. The money when it's supposed to come, I believe more in Uber as a company. Or I believed until they started to mess up.
Okay, believed.
Because I think they really need to check. Why are they doing this? 25% is too much.
So that's another major problem.
It's not your
That's
car.
25%.
You don't fuel it.
You don't fuel it.
You don't drive it. You basically do nothing.
No. Don't say they do nothing.
They advertise on the app.
And the app.
Advert and
How would you have
Yeah.
found people if not for the app?
For the app.
In fact,
They
the
have
way,
that
the way
leverage.
the way things
They
are
give it
now,
the leverage.
way things are now, it feels as if it pays to even be a regular yellow taxi. Because those ones, they rest.
Yeah.
At their own time.
And they still make money. They
Maybe
still
But
make
then,
good money.
then again, you can also rest now as an Uber or Taxify driver.
Not the
But
drivers.
you won't make as much because the rates are very low. Nobody wants to pay you more than what Uber. In fact, some people now, even when they want to request for some other cabs, they use Uber as a yardstick
to
request. But those ones won't take. Because if Uber takes you from point A to point B, they are likely to get people to take back. So if you are driving like a car hire kind of car that is not painted, if you take somebody from point A to point B, it's almost guaranteed you will drive down back.
So I like the angles that we are taking this conversation from. But again, it also comes down to the application and the drivers. There is a whole lot that's dependent on these two parties. I was writing the other day and I said, perhaps the most Nigerian thing ever has happened to Uber and Taxify, especially Uber, the Nigerian factor.
Okay.
People are cutting shoes. People are being fraudulent in how they are acting on the applications. And that is the problem of the drivers. Whether Uber or Taxify, especially Uber this time, has driven them to that point or not is another conversation. But the truth is, these guys are acting in very weird ways. We're hearing things about drivers being abusive towards one of their riders. We've had issues of a driver slapping a rider. I read about a lady who said a driver followed her into her house because he thought the fare was too low and he wanted her to pay some money. Even Taxify drivers are turning off the card option and saying, let's do a cash a trip.
How about
so
the
they
point
don't
where the
remit
drivers
monies.
are having their car jacked
Jacked.
and snatched at gunpoint
Beaten.
because riders are not properly verified?
Yeah.
One of the problems we as partner drivers had with Uber the first time is the cash option that they introduced. With the cash only option, anybody can just randomly create an account that you cannot verify. But
when you look at the uniqueness of the Nigerian market, we are still
no,
a
don't just
long way
look, don't
to
just
go.
look
You
at
don't
the
look at that
uniqueness
only.
of the
Look at
Nigerian
the
market.
safety of
Look
the
at the
people.
entire system. If you want to make money, you need to take into consideration the entire loop, the entire system that makes you the money. Do you know because of that, the promo and all that, and there are students in some schools, they have a kind of scam
Promo
they do.
ads,
Promo
Yes.
codes.
promo codes, I heard
Promo
that.
codes.
I
And
was
they are
like,
even
wow.
selling it. They even tell some drivers they want to sell the promo code. So they will use their friend's phone to activate the promo code. So when they request the ad, and you ask, what's your name? It's a different name from the person requesting for the car. So the entire system, so Uber needs to look for someone who has local knowledge. Because the problem here is not a very simple one. It's not one that I can solve for them. But if they
Indeed.
must make money, they need to
And they
look
want
at...
to penetrate as well. They want to
they
as
need
much
to
as
look.
possible.
It's not just about saying they can bring cars from 1999 onto the platform. What about if the cars are there, but you still have unruly drivers, you still have rude riders?
Yes.
What do they do about the rude riders?
What's your most dramatic experience as an Uber or a Taxify driver partner?
Okay, I think I've had a lady throw a cigarette lighter at me, you know, and what was it about? She wanted to smoke in the vehicle, and I said, "Ma, you're not allowed to smoke inside the car," and she wasn't cool with that, and she smoked. She started smoking, so I slowed down to pull over, and then she threw the lighter at me, and
Was that Uber or Taxify?
it was an Uber driver. And
How
I
about
reported to Uber, you know.
Okay.
Now the bad part was reporting this issue to Uber, and somebody, just a spirit out there, you know, sends me a text message. The issue has been resolved, and you didn't even tell me what happened. What did you do to her? How did you follow her up? What did she say? What I complained to you, was it different from what she said? Let me know if she's saying she didn't smoke or she didn't throw that at me. But you know, when you hear an Uber driver or a Taxify driver hitting a rider, it goes viral and everybody's like, he beat her up. And
Because
like that.
perhaps it happens more than the other way
No,
around.
it doesn't happen more. It happens more with the riders abusing the drivers. That's
Lot-
what happens.
different kinds of abuse. Oh, you come in my
Different
car and you're supposed to have cash if you want to pay cash. And then this is the incident that happened to me.
All right.
And this lady said she wants to do bank transfer. And I said, bank transfer on a weekend, it might not deliver. I don't really trust it so much. I've had this issue with customer in the past, so I would prefer...
I've done bank transfers before with drivers.
Yeah, I've had issues where I've had to like wait for 3 days to get
Before
my
you
money.
showed up.
You know how
I've
bank...
had an issue
This
that
is
you never
Nigeria.
even showed up. You
This
never
is
showed up
the
for 6
Nigerian
months.
factor we
That's
are
the
talking
thing.
about.
It's the Nigerian factor.
No, but
the
you're
most
not
Nigerian
supposed
thing
to
ever.
do transfer. It's not in the rule of the game. Now, she wants to do a transfer, and that's the issue. I said, I'm not going to accept a transfer. You have to pay me cash. Can I take you to the ATM? And she said, is it just because it's 2,000 something naira? It's just because... anyway, I've sent it to you. I'm going to have my gate man to come and sit with you in the car. When you see it, then you can leave. So, riders oftentimes can be very rude. I was just telling a lady, what's your preferred radio station? All those regular questions. I said, please, stop talking to me. Just face where you're going. So we get a lot of
Nollywood.
that. Yeah.
So like I was saying, it starts with the riders. They get to abuse the drivers a lot. Okay, like you.
Oh, sorry.
So you pick someone's request.
The day that a lady wanted to carry a dog in my car.
And
I'm allergic to it. No. I'm allergic to... I will start sneezing. And I said, no. And it was just a little bit... I mean, maybe she would have broken the glasses of my car then. So you have very rude drivers. And when this thing happens and you report it, you get... sorry.
But when it comes to the case of the drivers, if they get low ratings, when you get below, I think below 4 stars,
you get deactivated. Simple.
And then you pay to come and be retrained.
Wow. Speaking of training, and this is perhaps where we're going to wrap things up on TechCity DisQus, and I'm sure you guys are having a great time just listening to them go at each other, and especially Uber, Taxify, and all those other applications that enable you get on the road. I have heard issues with people saying, one, the verification process isn't very thorough on both platforms, and some people have taken it upon themselves to buy accounts. So they register several accounts and they start selling, tell you, oh, I have an account for sale, I can sell to you, and then they sell to that person. That again is putting the rider in a very potentially bad situation.
I don't know if that happens, but I know that I've rode on an Uber when I made a request once, and the person that was driving is different from the person
that's on the app.
So I reported it.
Can I explain that?
Yeah.
Can I explain that? Now, what happened? You know, there's this thing they send at the end of every week, and then they say best. Somebody earned 300,000 naira at the end of the week. He earned 300,000 naira at the end, stuff like that. And then, because people want to come up, there's this standard. Uber is going to take 25% from your cash, and then you're a driver, you've got to remit like 40, 35, or 50 to the car owner, and then you want to make something for yourself. And so there's this idea of some partners even agree that somebody drives my car from this hour to this hour, and then I would drive from this other hour to that hour. That's what happens in those cases.
Yeah, but then when it happened to me, I reported it, and Uber assured me that they're going to do something about it. At least I have that confidence that they will do, but I wouldn't know anything.
We wouldn't know if anything was done. Just before we go, right here on TechCity DisQus, you have highlighted the majority of the problems that you're having with Uber and maybe even Taxify. So it stems from security of the driver, your return on investment as a partner, and what else? Those are the two most important things.
Yeah, and did you mention
and
about
rider education? Because riders must know that we are not drivers. We do other things. We have other things we do. We just
but I don't have a problem. I actually don't have a problem being anybody's driver if they are paying. But they should not be rude.
Yeah.
And the same way you can ban a driver, you should be able to ban a rider.
Yeah.
Of course, we know they've banned some people. I've read in the news that they've banned some people, but I'm not sure they do that here in Nigeria. They want more people to be on the road using the app. So
I know I got locked out of Taxify sometime when I cancelled
too many trips.
And it was because the drivers were very far away. I would not just intentionally cancel the driver. If the driver was far away, I would cancel, and I would put it as my reason, as the driver was too far away or wasn't coming in my direction, and I would do that. So I mean, in closing, 1 or 2 sentences, how would you like for both Uber or Taxify to sort out the situations to win the confidence of the drivers and the partners back?
Obviously, it's been very difficult for Uber. They are not getting an easy way out of the competition. It's the competition that Taxify brought to them that has chased them to mess things up.
And they're very reactive.
Yeah, I mean, they are not very strategic about it. Now, you made the rates to be so low so that the return on investment is poor for your partners who are supposed to be the most important part of the equation. Now, what I think they should do is take it back to status quo.
Okay.
That's give us our old rates for the riders to request for, and then reduce your own commission. Give the riders your share.
Okay.
That's a better way to do it.
Yeah.
Give the
That's what Taxify did, basically.
25%. Why not take 10%?
Basically.
Take 10% and give the low rate. We are the one doing the bulk of the work on the road, taking the brunt of everything. And at the end of the day, we're supposed to be your partners. And you treat us like a piece of rubbish. What I want them to do is take part of their own cut. This is a suggestion. Okay. If they must lower the rate, or take it back to how it was before. And of course, if they do that, they will be edged out. They will be edged out. So they need to go and rethink it. They need to go back to the drawing board.
Thank you, Jesse. And you, AJ?
It's simple. My suggestion for them is, no matter how good your intentions are, nobody sees your intentions. True. So why don't they forget about their intentions and listen to what people are saying? Their partners and the drivers. Forget about your good intentions and listen to what your drivers and partners are saying. And I think you'll be in business. That's what Taxify is doing, and they're in business. And
maybe we should say they should act on what they've been told.
They've been saying, Taxify just came up, and then everybody, if I ask you how you got to know about Taxify, it probably was an Uber driver who told you about Taxify. Like I asked 10 persons, and then 8 of them said it was my Uber driver that told me to go to and download Taxify. So which means Taxify brought up something better, and I'm like, these guys are not giving me something.
Does this mean Taxify isn't doing anything wrong? Are they perfect?
No, I'm not going to say they're perfect, because if you ask me, there's something I expected them to do by now, they have done by now, which is something like the tolls, making the tolls become automatic, automated toll. You have to enter the tolls. If you forget to, you lose the money. You lose the money for the tolls. Now that's something they should work on. Okay. And then you cannot edit your number, which I suggested that to them some time ago, and they said it was for security reasons. Okay. Drivers could, edit their numbers and do certain things and all of that. So they don't want drivers to change numbers.
And then if you need someone to drive for you as a partner, the person can come under your name. The person has to create a separate account. In fact, the dynamics of Taxify doesn't look like they are ready for business in their system.
They just look like they want to compete with Uber.
They want to just take Uber out of the business before standardizing out things.
And that's not sustainable.
That's why when you ask me, which platform would I rather drive on? For me, it's Uber.
Because they are more structured.
Their structure is excellent. It's just the way they are not having high regard for the partners.
All right, then that's all we have time for. Unfortunately, on TechCity DisQus, I've had a great time talking with Jesse Oguns, driver partner, or is it partner driver? Driver, how does it say?
A partner that drives occasionally.
There you go. And AJ Franklin as well. Thank you guys so much. Would like to have you guys, sometime soon again to talk about maybe this. If nothing is done,
Maybe
hopefully something is.
to come and talk about how I've used my Uber money to build mansion
Oh,
in Lekki.
it's not impossible because many people actually got on Uber to just make money, like side hustle. Because you make
I mean, it's kind
money.
of cool because being on Uber,
It was cool.
I have
It was
it
cool.
was
But now
cool.
it's
It was
like
cool
it's a
because
lot
I'm
of
not driven
work
like
now.
the one month.
It was
For
cool.
me, my entertainment money, my fuel money, my money that I throw around
Was from Uber.
From Uber.
For
I had to
fun.
just
And you're
follow-
9 to 5, you're saving that up.
Yes, but now,
Was for driving on the app.
Yeah.
But now it's not anymore. It's like
Sorry about that. Hopefully things get better, and we do
Yeah.
hope that the authorities.
and I hope that they're listening.
Exactly, I was just about to say that the concerned authorities. Hopefully you're listening, and you will take all of the suggestions and execute them to your advantage and to the advantage of your driver partners and your riders. Thank you so much for joining us today. Do leave a comment in the section below if you have any questions or you just want to give us a very good thumb up for a job well done. That was a lot. But we'll see you again next time on another edition of TechCity DisQus. My name is Bella Rizokoji. Please follow us across every social media platform on your screen. Check out some of our text content on our website, www.techcityng.com. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.